Hello, my name is Manda Bates, and I want to talk to you about the dangers of genetically modified food. It's my position that genetically modified foods are dangerous to our health. The long term effects of genetically modified foods are very much unknown, and that in order to protect our health, we really need to cut back on the consumption of those foods and start to move towards more organic options. So let's start by defining genetically modified food. GMO foods are foods whose genomes have been altered. So its DNA contains more genes than it normally would. So genes produce protein, and having more genes than normal increases the protein count, which is often the basis for food allergies. Scientists certainly believe that this is the reason why food allergies are on the rise. In addition, they also believe that these same proteins are the basis for increases in a lot of the health issues that Americans are suffering from. I do want to show you a label of a very popular food. Just a caveat to that: Honey Nut Cheerios by General Mills. It's a food that I'm sure we've all eaten, we all love. I just want to take a look at the label. So if you take a look at the label, currently in the United States, companies are not required to put on their label that their food is genetically modified. There are a lot of people that are fighting to force companies to do so. General Mills is a company that is willing and voluntarily putting this information on their label. It's letting us know that this product contains partial genetic engineering. And if you take a look at the ingredients in this cereal, you'll recognize whole grains, oats, cornstarch. But then if you look down, you'll start to see some ingredients that you probably don't even know how to pronounce, let alone what the long-term effects on our body would be from consuming it. I do want to share that my daughter was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism about 2 years ago. This is an autoimmune disease, which is also a disease that is currently on the rise. And with hyperthyroidism, her thyroid produces too much of a hormone called thyroxine. And what happens is it causes her metabolism to work harder, which causes her to lose a lot of weight. It causes an increase in blood pressure, increase in heart rate. It causes your body to rev up kind of like an engine and stay like that. And so in speaking with her doctor, we decided, to cut out some of the genetically modified food, cut back on sugar, changed from cow's milk to more almond milk, soy milk kind of a thing. And her levels have evened out. And we are able to now control her hyperthyroidism with the help of medication as well. But I definitely do think the changes in food have contributed to the positive results. I also want to let you know the Academy of Environmental Medicine strongly urges doctors to prescribe their patients a non GMO diet. They cite animal studies that show organ damage, gastrointestinal immune issues, immune disorders, and infertility issues. This is in animals that were strictly consuming genetically modified food. They also notice accelerated aging, faulty insulin regulations, which could tie directly to diabetes, and just changes in their major organs that was not advantageous to the animal's overall health. So you can just imagine, since our bodies are very, very similar, what's going to happen to us? I also do want to point out that genetically modified food harms the environment. What happens is they spray these crops with these chemicals, and these chemicals contaminate the earth forever. And they also kill off and contaminate any animals that live in the earth. And so if we want to preserve our Mother Earth, we certainly need to reduce the chemicals that we are putting into the ground. Since our food grows from the ground, it kind of goes hand in hand. I do also want to discuss organic food. and give you a definition of what that is. Now, I do have also a nice graph that I do want to show with this. So let's talk about what organic means. Organic refers to the way agricultural products are grown and processed. Now, these regulations do vary from country to country, but their organic crops must be grown without the use of synthetic pesticides. So all of those bad things I was telling you that was contaminating the earth, organic products are prohibited from being grown using those things. And also organic livestock that's raised for meat, eggs, and dairy products must have access to the outdoors and be given organic feed. So this is feed without all those extra chemicals. They also may not be giving antibiotics, growth hormones, or any animal byproducts. I want to show you this. I hope you can see it. And it's a graph that talks about organic versus non-organic. Organic produce is grown with natural fertilizers. The weeds are controlled naturally, so without like Roundup or anything like that. Pests are controlled using natural methods. And livestock are given all organic, hormone, and GMO-free feed. Let's talk about the benefits of genetically modified food. So we all know that it's produced using fewer pesticides. This food is often fresher because it doesn't contain any preservatives that make it last longer. And it's also produced from smaller farms that are normally near where you live. It's better for the environment because it, X's out those pesticides. And organically raised animals are not giving any of those bad things. Organic meat, therefore, is richer in nutrients. So you're getting more of the health benefit from the food. And it's GMO free. So without all of those extra chemicals that, again, we don't know, what the long-term effects of that is on our body. I do want to share with you some foods that you want to make sure that you are eating organic. That's going to be apples, bell pepper, cucumber, celery, potatoes, grapes, and cherry tomatoes. And that's because the skin of these products is thinner, so the pesticides that they spray actually penetrate into the meat of the fruit or vegetable. So you definitely want to be wary with that. Also, kale, summer squash, nectarines, peaches, spinach, strawberries, and hot peppers are vegetables that you certainly want to make sure that you're buying organic. There are some things that you can do because there's always people say, organic food is more expensive than processed food. It absolutely is. And the reason for that is there's more care that goes into producing organic products versus the chemicals that are cheaper and that are used to produce GMO food. So what you can do to help keep the cost down and put it in and help fit it into your budget is to shop at farmers markets. Farmers markets are really cheap. You can join a food co-op. You can join a community-supported agriculture farm. You also want to make sure that you shop around. Some organic produce may be cheaper in other areas. The bottom line is, with GMO food, we don't know what the long-term effects are. And I just feel like our health is not worth that gamble. We must begin to pay attention to the types of foods that we're putting in our body. Our government does not require food corporations to place all the chemicals they use processing their foods on their label. When we look at the increase of health issues we're seeing already and pair that with the risk to the environment, it makes sense to eliminate GMO food from our diets. We have to take charge of our health, and that starts with taking charge of what we eat and making better choices.